G'day everybody, Single Issue Steve here. Welcome to another 5 minutes of metal. Now this one is being delivered with a bit of a heavy heart. So unfortunately for the world and the metal community, Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. So I thought I would pay homage to the great man himself by talking about my favourite Ozzy Osbourne album. I don't think I need to go into the background of Ozzy and where he started, because if you like metal, or even if you probably like music, you know how it all started with Black Sabbath way back when, One Touch and all that sort of stuff. I want to focus more on his solo stuff, and that's probably where I really started to get into Ozzy and his music. My favorite album is from 1986. So this album I'm going to talk about with you guys now is the fourth album in his catalog. So obviously he's released quite a few. I think he's up to, well, was up to 13 albums at the time of his unfortunate passing. But I'll touch on the albums in a sec. But the other thing to talk about is the recent concert with Black Sabbath. So if you haven't seen it, definitely jump online, check it out. Hopefully you can still find it some sort of streaming service somewhere. It was an amazing homage to an amazing man who has had such a massive bearing on the metal community. And I even heard someone summarize him beautifully. They said he's pretty much the Elvis Presley of the metal world. So Black Sabbath kind of started it all. Your bands like your Iron Maidens and your Judas Priests, and guys like Metallica as well, were all heavily influenced by guys like Ozzy, and all these bands have actually played with him and stuff as well. So that's awesome. The album I'm going to talk about is this one here, which is my favorite, and it's backwards again. Sorry about that. Is The Ultimate Sin. So The Ultimate Sin, as I said, was released in 1986, and this is probably the height of Ozzy's sort of real popularity, because in the 80s, metal was loud. It was, I'm not going to say it was all glam, but some of the stuff that Ozzy used to wear on stage, we had sequins and stuff on it, which you probably wouldn't think of that as a metal thing. But hey, in the 80s, it was pretty big. That's what they wore. So there's so many great tracks on this album. The other thing as well, there's a couple of tracks on this album, which is Killer of Giants and Thank God for the Bomb, which are very topical for that time, which focused on the Cold War and general war and weapons and things. For instance, in the song Killer of Giants, one of my favorite little couple of lines is, "If none of us believe in war, then tell me what are the weapons for," which is a really great way to talk about the pointlessness of war. And we know what war's like. Everyone's going through it, in different places all around the world. Shouldn't say everyone, but there's a lot of conflicts everywhere, all around the world at the moment. My favorite Aussie song is actually on this album, which is Shot in the Dark. There's a video clip for it as well. Very, very similar to the video clip for Lightning Strikes, but Shot in the Dark, I love it. It's got a great beat. The band, and it was the same band that Ozzy had for many years with Jake E. Lee on guitars. You had Phil Sousan on bass, and also Randy Castillo, who unfortunately has passed away as well, on drums. So the four of them, absolutely sensational. Jake E. Lee is an amazing guitarist, and I think his first sort of introduction to the metal community through Ozzy might have been on the previous album, Bark at the Moon, which alone itself, that title track is freaking awesome. And hearing Jake Ellie's guitar playing is amazing. So Shot in the Dark is probably my favorite. The title track, Ultimate Sin, is really, really good as well. Killer of Giants, as I mentioned, is a song about war, but when you actually sit back and listen to the first part of the song, you can really feel it, and you can feel the senselessness and the hopelessness of the message that Ozzy's trying to sell. So it's really, really cool. I like Secret Loser as well. That's a good song too, but it's a really, really cool album. I still think it stands the test of time. It was from, as I said, 1986, back when I had hair and I was just still at high school. That was my first sort of real exposure to Ozzy. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. As I said, he's got an extensive catalogue, but I really wanted to do this video just to pay a short homage to a man who's had so much influence on so many people, an amazing artist, an amazing songwriter, massive loss for the world, not just the metal community, but also the music community in general. So rest in peace, big man. There will never be another metal musician like you. Take care, everyone. Rock on, stay safe. See you for the next 5 minutes of metal.